Welcome back to From Nine to Mom.
Where we discuss balancing the 9 to 5 hustle with the beautiful chaos that we call motherhood. And today I'm super excited. We have a good friend of mine, Rae, on the podcast, or Real Estate Rae, as you guys might know her. Rae and I met when I moved to the neighborhood here in 2020 ish. She is a mom of 2 kids, an excellent realtor, and an all around great human being. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about what it looks like entering the workforce after having kids. And Rae, again, thank you for coming. Give us a little bit more. Tell us about you.
Thank you for having me. I was really flattered that you asked. Kind of teary-eyed a little. It's been going back into full-time work has been an emotional roller coaster, trying to find the balance and all the things. I'm originally from Michigan, and we moved to the Fort Mill, South Carolina area about 10 and a half years ago, and that's where we started our family. We have no one here. We did it all on our own. Nobody followed us, still haven't followed us, even though we've tried.
That's the worst. No
I
one
know.
followed? What the heck?
We're like, hello, it's great here. Why do you want to stay in Michigan?
She's got other people to move. It's fine.
Yeah. So our story, our family, building the life started all down here.
Yeah. And you have 2 awesome kids. Tell us a little bit about them, how old they are.
I've got Emery, she's 9, and I've got Crew, 6. He'll be 7 in December.
Yeah. And I'll say that your daughter was one of the first people that talked to Colton when we moved here at the
I
pool.
believe that. I believe that. We're the welcoming committee.
That's great though. I love your guys' like neighborhood and how like tight knit everyone is. Like,
Yeah.
so Rae, it's much different in upstate New York. Like, I don't talk to my neighbors really.
No.
Like, it's just a different lifestyle, I suppose. So I love coming down and walking Danielle's neighborhood and like seeing the community you guys have built down there. It's really cool.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
take Katie on neighborhood walks like you do, Rae, because I know that's something that you do a lot, just so she can get a lay of the land. And I think with this neighborhood, obviously, Rae and I have talked a lot about the neighborhood and how that integrates into small business and all that stuff. And we also have talked a lot about, she just said it, she came here on her own. You've been a realtor since 2011, I think, right?
Yeah.
She's been a realtor since 2011, had a full business, moved here with no support, started your family, 2 kids. I kind of want to start by asking you, like, obviously you kept up your licenses and you used it for personal reasons, but like, how did you make the decision to kind of step back when you had your kids? And how did that feel for you?
It was a big decision to make, and it was something me and my husband, who's been like my rock, my support, we just decided, like, we were both raised by stay-at-home moms, and
Us too.
it was just a thing that, back these babies. And we didn't want to have to work to schlep our kids off to be raised by somebody else.
Yeah.
We didn't, it's expensive. You don't know who's taking care of them. And it was a non-negotiable for us. We wanted to be there for because they're only little for so long.
Yeah.
They're, they're
And
babies.
if you don't have help here, Katie and I both had our parents and our in-laws
Yeah.
to help support us through that time. So it wasn't like a completely foreign thing. So I can understand like why you felt
we had
that
no
way.
help.
I feel like
Nobody.
you never stopped working though, because you basically became the community like networker of the
Well,
world.
and that's a passion of mine. I love bringing people together. Like, I'd be talking to somebody and I'm like, wait a minute, you're saying something that I just talked to somebody else about. You guys need to meet. Like, I love that. I love making connections in business and life and personal. Like, it's a passion of mine too.
And
You're
it's
always
cool that
learning.
it's cool that you got to merge that to, I mean, being a realtor, obviously it's very similar, right? Like you're meeting tons of different people, finding right placements. So like, it's cool that you were able to take a step back, still be yourself in that part of it. And then I know Danielle's told me a little bit, but about kind of going back to full-time work now that the kids are a little older. What's that been like now? How long have you been back full-time, I guess I'd say?
Full time, almost 3 years, like 2.5,
Okay.
almost 3 years. I kept trying to like dive back in, like as I thought the kids were creating different milestones, and I'm like, okay, maybe now I'm ready. Like,
Yeah.
before I had before I had my son, I was like, my daughter was getting bigger and more capable, becoming person. I was like, well, maybe now I can. And then I got pregnant with my son. I was like, maybe not.
It
And so
does
since,
feel like a setback sometimes though, like, you're like, "Oh, okay, now I might as well wait again for that." But so you kinda waited till both of them were in school then, right? If that's
yeah.
kind of the right timeline, right?
Well, right. In my industry, like you can't be a secret agent. So like I could have my license and I could tell people I had my license and say I'd be willing to help and work with you. That doesn't mean anything until you dive right in. And because secret agents aren't making money,
Yeah.
you gotta tell the world and you gotta let them know what you can do.
I feel like you guys are the ultimate, like, Katie and I are obviously in marketing. You guys are the ultimate social selling human beings because you have to be up in the forefront. So I can imagine, like, if you're going through transitions, we know how much time and effort it takes to do that on top of actually doing the job. How many
Hmm.
times would you say it? Because I feel like that's kind of inspiring, right? Like to be able to say, like, I tried, I had to step back. Like, but you just had a huge 6 months. So how many times did you try or attempt before you actually were like, I am ready?
Twice.
Okay.
Twice. And then when my youngest, when he was in the fours program, and I'm like, all right, he's spending more time at school now. Like now is the time to just dive in. Like because kindergarten's coming, I'm gonna have even more time, so I want to be prepared for that. So
Yeah.
I started diving in right at that point when I had more time.
Is that something you were worried about is, like, when you had that more time, you're like, "If I'm not ready, what's gonna happen?"
There's never gonna be a perfect time. And you just gotta make the decision and jump into it, or else you're never gonna do it. Done is better than never starting.
No, I 100%. It's hard for like
There's
people
Mhm.
in their brains, all of us in our brains. We want to do it right, like, and have it be beautiful. But the reality is, I think that's
Never gonna be
what you just
perfect.
need. Done is better than doing nothing.
Nothing.
And
Yeah.
I think you don't have to succeed on your first try to be
Mm-mm.
successful because obviously right now you're in an amazing place, but all the work that you did leading up and maybe like Katie, I feel like so many people we talk to that that I know you weren't full-time stay-at-home mom, but are stay-at-home moms or are re-entering the workforce. They're like, I don't know even us sometimes say this. Like, I don't know who I
Oh.
am anymore. I don't know like what I'm doing. And, can you share a little bit about because in real estate, obviously it's all about relationships and referrals, like how the community you built has supported you through this transition?
So, I'm gonna take a step back and kind of dive into who I am and who I was, and
Yeah.
like you kind of do lose that in motherhood. And then you have to. I felt myself kind of like finding myself again, and kind of almost backpedaling to be like reminding yourself of what you loved about it. So my background was in sales and marketing. I worked for Hard Rock Cafe. I worked for CBS Radio. I had a career, a lifestyle, and then I eventually got my real estate license. After purchasing my own first home, I was like, I love this, right? So maybe this is something I want to dabble in. So I gave up like a 9 to 5 career to dive into the 24/7 of real estate. And so when I created my own business, I discovered that what I loved about working for corporate, I could incorporate into my life in real estate. So as I grew as a person, I collected people along the way and intertwined it into my business and lifestyle. And like I said, you remind yourself of who you were before you were a mom too, and kind of like reactivate that.
I'm picturing you like as a kid, like, what do you collect? Kids are like stamps, pods, Pokemon cards. We're like, people. I collect
People.
people.
You don't realize what your passion is until you find it too. Like for the longest time, like I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna become a realtor. No one says that. Like, no, you don't go. I went to college. I got a degree. I did all the things, but you don't know your passion about it until you find it.
And a
I
lot of
envy the
times you have
people
to
who
ask
find it early.
why to go backwards. Like, why do I, like you said that, like, why did I like these jobs? What was it about them? Why, like, you go to five whys or whatever that you keep asking backwards to figure out, oh, wait, I like people, period. I like people.
I like people. A lot of people don't like people.
That's true.
It
I
is
get
very
it.
true. I feel like what you just said though made me think about, and so you have to I'm like the younger one I have the younger kids of
What?
the group here. Like my kids are 2 and 4, so I'm still like in the toddler years. Like everyone needs me all the time. And I've been out networking a lot more. And I'm one of those people that I really don't like people, but I have to like people for work. But I'm curious too, because I'm starting to like get back into it post like being a mom of babies. Now I'm like getting back into work full time, like really hitting the ground now. And how has being a mom like impacted your business? I feel like with connections, with like your work ethic or any of that, like how has it changed since before kids?
At first, like, I was chasing leads to
Mhm.
just kind of prove myself. Like, I was taking, I don't know how much you guys know, but, like, about Zillow leads,
Mhm.
and they take, like, 40% of your commission
But equal the amount
and
of work.
sometimes more.
Mhm.
So I started off there just to kind of show my friends, my sphere, my surrounding that I was
Yeah.
back in and I was diving force in. So I was chasing it, chasing it. And it wasn't until the point where like I said, I'm not focusing on me. I'm starting to lose myself in a different direction, diving in too far.
Mhm.
And I was like, take a step back and focus on me, my family, and my surroundings. And I find that that's where I found my true success because I was able to intertwine my business with personal, like networking at a baseball game.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've made some of the best mom friends, some best clients, the clients' parents
Yeah.
at baseball on the fields.
Those are the true lead groups, right? Like,
And those are the people, those are your cheerleaders. Those are the better ones. You
yeah.
enjoy working with them. And everyone's always, well, we don't want to mix our relationship with personal. And I'm like, listen, you're not going to offend me. Like, I understand it's a personal, buying a house is personal.
There's nothing
It's
more other
intimate.
than a doctor, you know, but
Yeah. Like
it's very personal.
it's your decision. I will never be mad at you for making a decision or changing your mind
Yeah.
because it's your life, it's your money.
I feel like that's like I know this is a little pivot, but that's something common Katie and I talk about too. Like it in any leg of business, working with people that you meet or that you really enjoy, it can be difficult sometimes because you don't want to mess like because you care so much about the person, you want to do an even better job. But on their end, they should like it's such a fine line. But at the end of the day, like you said, you actually care and you're not going to be mad because you truly want what's best for that person. And I think that's something we could take into any leg of business. It's like we always say it's not personal, it's business, but it is business, but also you're a personal you're human that I
Hmm.
care about. So I'm going to make sure you get what you need. And Ray, I know that you talked to me a little bit about the baseball field and meeting friends. And it's just so funny that Katie, the real lead group, that's where like all
Yeah.
you spend all this money, like going to networking groups and I know real estate is super competitive for leads, like going to Zillow, all this stuff, and you're finding your greatest cheerleaders on cheerleading for your
It's
kids.
Your job.
and I feel like it's because that's the most natural, right? Like you were saying, right? It's ingrained in your everyday life. You found a way to still get the leads, but be at the baseball game,
Hmm.
and really make those connections. It's important to find good groups of people too. I'm like excited for sports to start for the kids so that it opens up a whole nother networking group.
Hmm. It really does. School, and I volunteer at this school, go to the PTO
Yes.
meetings. Being present is key, really, and emotional availability to people. I'm constantly walking the neighborhood when it's not 800 degrees. Like
Yeah.
people have called us the golden retrievers of the
That
neighborhood.
is such a good term to use for you.
Yeah.
Everybody
And my
wants,
whole family's like it. We are all very extroverted. Like
yeah. I
you're
think
seeing us
like
coming down the road.
right, and if you go into, like, our kids' school, Ray's face is everywhere, like, she sponsors everything, like, everyone knows Real Estate Rae, and I feel that so often we try and figure out how do we find more time for our kids while working. You're just making me think out loud, but you are finding more time for your kids by working. You're present, you're there, you're not missing out, but you're taking those opportunities while you're there to build meaningful connections for your business. So
Yeah.
maybe you can
And
do
I like
both.
pouring back into my community too, because my community's pouring back to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Any special projects you're working on right now?
I have lots of things in my head. um, just working. mm, Nothing
You
specific.
have one thing that you told me about that I thought was pretty cool.
What was I telling you about?
The libraries, those when you take a
Oh
walk and
yeah.
you get free books? Like, listen to this business idea. Genius. Go for it.
So I noticed our little library we have in our neighborhood got destroyed by the weather. The books are moldy. The
Mm.
doors got ripped off. So I'm like, this is something. I need to do something about this. And I found little libraries. I registered. My husband's going to install it probably within the next couple days because it came last week in the mail. We registered for like one of those, a little library, and you could register it under Real Estate Rae. It's got a plaque on it and everything. And I'm starting it in our neighborhood, and I was going to pop it in a few other neighborhoods too. So it's something I can give back to the community and get my face in front of people.
Yeah, it'll have her
Yeah,
name on it and everything. Like, the kids love
Hmm.
those things.
that's so
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
And ours
I
is so
love them.
sad
I
right
did
now.
pick
I
up a
know.
book recently called Titanic Cat for my best friend. It's a Titanic novel about a cat. It's very
About a
strange. Very
cat?
strange. I couldn't help myself. I took it. But you have all these families, parents, like in neighborhoods that they want to be in. And you think about real estate, people are walking. Or I came to this neighborhood a bajillion times before I moved here just to see like if it was really a good
Mhm.
neighborhood. No, I mean, golden retriever energy, you need it.
Yeah. And I keep trying to find ways I can help. Like, what was I doing last spring? But then I got insanely busy. But there was an egg shortage.
Oh my God, I forgot about this egg thing.
Mm.
Explain to Katie,
I
please.
became an egg dealer,
Yeah. Great.
but I was using the money to raise. I was raising money for the Carolina Fowl Rescue.
Oh,
It
okay.
was
Cool. You had a
So
good
I was
spin to it.
selling. I found eggs from a local person farming eggs, sold them, and we gave the money back to the birds.
Egg
It's good
dealer.
though, but it's like cool that you're being creative in how you're almost essentially marketing yourself and like with the community being like number one thing and having your kids grow up in that style community is also important and they're going to get that golden retriever energy and it's a good way to instill that in them. So one of the things that I feel like we always talk about on here too is or well, and maybe it's just because it's my special interest of organization, but like what are some things that either you use, like if you have apps or tips of things of like family organization? Because I feel like with real estate, you've got a million things 24/7. Then you have the kids and sports. Like what are some things you do to keep the family organized?
We have one of those a digital calendar,
Nice.
and it's next to the coffee pot.
Is it the
So you have
skylight?
And
to,
it is the skylight. Mhm. Yep. So
okay.
we do the skylight, and we have like the phones. This we synced our all our calendars, and then the kids can go on the skylight and see what's coming up today. Just constantly, and I have to harp on my husband. I'm like, put it in the calendar. It's not in the calendar.
Yeah,
I don't know
right.
what's happening.
It
I'm
doesn't
like, my
exist if it's
stuff's
not
in
in the
the
calendar.
my stuff's in the calendar. Yours is not. You get the kids.
I
I think that's a great rule. That's the staple of this episode, I
I'm gonna
think, is
take that.
that's the rule.
If
Yes.
it's not in the calendar and you have it on, then you're like,
That's your
I
problem.
beat you to it. Yeah.
I like this. I like this.
Yeah, there you go. Give me something else. What other rules we by? I don't know. I gotta think of them.
Yes, the calendars are always number one. We have one that we do on our phones. I've been looking at the skylight, though. I feel like that would be up my alley.
It'll
Yeah,
be a
it
really good
syncs with.
Christmas gift.
I
Yes.
haven't figured out how to do the pictures to it yet. I haven't dove into that, but the main purpose is the calendar. That's all I care
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
still use Cozy, but it's like a phone version of the skylight. But the skylight is just it's premier. And like Katie said, you have 24/7 work.
Mhm.
And that's what we're finding too. We're networking and doing all these
Right.
things. And then, Ray, I know you know because today's kicked off our kids' Spirit Week, which goes for like not a week, it's forever. And then Daisy is at a different school and she has Spirit Week next week, but a totally different set of spirit activities. And I'm like, when does it end? It doesn't, right? It doesn't end.
Doesn't.
No, but it is mindset, and it's taking a breath. I found like I would get overwhelmed, and then I go, wait, it's just a spirit day. And then, but if I remembered, which because I did put it on the calendar to remember to wear the spirit wear, I tell my kids it's spirit wear day.
That's the word.
And
When
you
you're
put all this
excited about
effort
it,
into whatever was gonna.
I made sure we remembered it. Well, no one cared.
that's like something that's so hard, I think, with kids because we take all this effort,
It
like
is.
to have like you said, good mindset, do all the things, and then they're not interested. And you're like, are you, we care more than they do. And Katie and I don't know if you read Let Them, but Katie and I were obsessed with it for a while. But like the idea of she cared so much about that stupid corsage and the kid did not care at all. And it ended up being like just a stress for her, annoying them. And we got to think about that sometimes. Like there's things our
Mhm.
kids need to do, like homework that they don't want to do. Like you have to do that. But I guess if you don't want to wear the Dr. Seuss outfit, you don't. I don't
My
really
kids
care.
did not wear skirt wear. Boy, will look like I forgot.
You just got to put a sign on their back,
That's
like we're
also
gonna do for that.
something I know, you're like that's like how I would feel is like if they don't, I'm gonna feel like they thought it was me and I can't handle
I'm
that.
a
I would
bad
send a note.
parent,
I'd literally write a note to the teacher, be like, I remembered for the
for
for
the
the
record.
record.
Eventually, you get over that.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah.
That's like one of the
Yeah.
questions I want to ask you. And you're like, I feel like in real estate, you can relate to Katie and I, like in the podcasting realm, it is a lot about appearances. You want to be your authentic self, but it is also a lot about showing up, being authentic, and people are going to judge you in a good way and in a bad way. So, how, because it's so ingrained, like your business in your kids' lives in the community, has that impacted you at all, positively or negatively in your brain?
Positively, I guess. I just consciously try not to yell at them in public anymore.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
they're good kids. So, but I mean, yeah, you just gotta be mindful.
Of what you're doing. So, you always have that kind of in the back of your head.
Yeah, but you get used to it though too. So, and if you're not living your authentic self, and I mean, you try to be real because people want to work with people who are real. I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
phony because
Mhm.
I don't want to work with the people who want to work with phony Ray.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not fun.
And I know that we're gonna ask you our like before we wrap up, we'll of course ask our one question, Katie. But I also have two more that were on my list. One being, what if you could give anybody advice like about re-entering full-time workforce with kids? Like what advice would you give them?
One step at a time. Like how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
I've never
Like,
eaten
Yeah.
an elephant.
well, I'm not eating an elephant
Just
either.
kidding.
But if you had to,
Yeah, one step at a time. That makes
one bite at a time. Like, or
and
else you're
then
gonna get
also
overwhelmed and cause yourself more stress. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it to you. It's not worth it to your family because you've got to make it work for everybody.
that is really good advice because I think sometimes when you dive when I'm talking about myself when I say sometimes when you I want to go all in and then I get so frustrated when one thing doesn't go the right way and then I'm mad at myself and you take it out on your family or you work super late because you've got to get it done and you're forgetting the whole point, right? Is to provide and be there for them and you're to show up for yourself. So I like that. And then I know you do real estate in a unique way that's built by you because you're being your authentic self. And for people listening, I want you to be able to tell them why you're different than maybe the typical realtor that you would, not the typical realtor. What makes you unique and different in case somebody here listening wants to move to the Carolinas or needs a new neighborhood? Like, why would you suggest if they work with you?
That's a good one. I did not prepare this. Other than, like I said, I care. I feel like I treat my clients the way I want to be treated. I act like it's me buying the house. I don't know. I mean, the picking a house is you're finding the backdrop for your family's story. You're finding your next phase in life, whether they're young and they have kids or you're old and you want to move closer to your kids or why work with me just because I care and I'm going to do the best I can and I'll take it personally if I can't.
Yeah, I think what you just said is like unique in itself. Like you're visualizing it's not a transaction, it's not just a house. You're looking at like not just the bones of the house or how it looks like that's the backdrop. You're looking at what's going to be in that home and why they're moving to that home. And I think that in itself is a reason to work with you because that's what everybody else is picturing when they walk into their own home too.
Mhm.
So I think that's awesome. And then Katie, you want to ask our final question because we can't go on without
Yes.
it.
I
We
know
didn't
we're
warn
gonna
you,
put you
Ray.
it's not that scary, but we always put our people on the spot that come on the podcast. Me and Danielle initially started this podcast because we kept having so many things that would pop up in our lives. And we were like, we can't make this up that this happened. Like this just whatever it was just kept going. They can't believe my kid's sick the first week of school. They can't believe my kid yelled in public like that or whatever it is. So we want to hear your funniest story of something that your kids did that you were like, I can't even make that up, that they said that, did that, whatever it was.
I feel like every week something new happens that you just can't make I find myself saying that. I'm like, you can't make this shit up.
Yeah. It's our new motto at this point because it is happening weekly, but there's always like that one thing that you're like, oh my God, did they really just do that? And every time I think of it, Danielle, when I called it out to you the other day, I think about how Jordan let Daisy leave the house with a pad on her, like stuck to her leg, and they went through the whole grocery store like that. That's the best one I think I've ever heard.
It's so embarrassing.
That's awesome.
So Ray, what you got? Give us a story.
Oh, but there's a few then. Back when Emery was little, she was giving up her nap time, and I had just had crew. And at our old house, we had a bus stop right in front of the house. And it was also during nap time when the kids would get off the bus. Well, my daughter decided to strip off her clothes and dance on the windowsill in front of as the bus is unloading, naked as a jaybird. There's pictures of my neighbor sending me pictures of her like crawling on the window ledge.
So you did
And
not know
like
this was happening.
I did not know it was happening until someone sent me pictures because I thought she was napping.
So that
My
is
God.
hilarious because I feel like kids love like why do they love being naked? A and B,
What?
they love to put on a show naked. And you're like, guys, we
He
can't
was
have
supposed to be
this.
sleeping.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
My daughter still sleeps in her underwear. Like, I gotta be naked, she says.
Listen, that's
She's
fine. Just
9.
don't go near the window, okay? Especially at drop off. We've got a lot more neighbors now. Like we're not doing this, kid. That is so funny. I
Yeah,
think that's like
that was a good one.
Yeah,
you'll
that's
tell that
great.
story at her wedding.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, right.
She always puts on a show when she's doing her softball. Like, if I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm in my chair, I'm talking, because I'm always talking it on the sideline. And she's like,
Of
Ma,
course.
I'm gonna hit. I'm hitting now. I'm like, I see
Pay
you. You're hitting.
attention.
Got
Pay
it.
attention.
Don't you hate when
Just
they
calling
call
you
you out
out.
for that stuff? Like you're
Oh,
trying to pay attention, but you look down for 1 minute or you talk to the person and they're like, did you didn't watch me? And it's like, I have literally been watching you do nothing for the last 20 minutes. And then the 1 second you decide to do a thing,
What you're doing.
I look
right.
away. I'm sorry. I love you. It was awesome.
And she's like, Mom, I'm gonna be shortstop. Mom, look, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be a pitcher. I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, yay,
Go do it. Go
go!"
do it.
I love it. Well, you know what? I feel like they love us. We're their, they want us cheering
I
for them
know.
at all times. And if we're not, they're gonna get naked and dance in a window. So I guess that's the way life works.
Right?
But I think it's time that we clock back out and clock back in to the for Ray 24/7. And Ray, thank you so much for coming on. If you are looking to move to Charlotte or you're in the Charlotte area, please reach out to her. We'll add all her contact info in the show notes. But we appreciate you and I hope everybody has a great day.
Thanks.